Once hailed as a visionary who would change the world, Elon Musk now finds himself among the most despised figures in America. According to new polls, his approval has sunk below that of political lightning rods like Benjamin Netanyahu and Marco Rubio. How did a man once celebrated as the real-life Tony Stark become a symbol of controversy, division, and distrust? This is the story of Elon Musk, and why he is the most hated man in America. Elon's story begins on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. His mother, May, was a Canadian-born model. His father, Errol, an electromechanical engineer, property owner, and by his own account, a wealthy emerald dealer. From the start, Musk's childhood was steeped in privilege. Errol claimed he bought his first airplane at just 24, drove Elon to school in a Rolls-Royce, and possessed so much money that managing it became a problem in itself. It was a world of rarefied comfort, a world far removed from one most of us know. His grandfather, Joshua Haldeman, died when Elon was still young, but his shadow looms large in family history. Haldeman was a pilot, an adventurer, and perhaps most significantly, a political firebrand. He was an outspoken anti-government, anti-democracy conspiracy theorist, and according to his son-in-law, Errol Musk, Elon's father, a staunch supporter of apartheid and even Nazism. In 1940, during the height of World War II, Canadian authorities arrested Haldeman for his involvement with Technocracy Incorporated, an anti-democracy group viewed as a potential threat in wartime. In the decades that followed, his rhetoric grew darker. He gave speeches warning of a so-called international conspiracy of Jewish bankers and the hordes of colored people they controlled. These extremist views destroyed his chances when he later ran for a seat in the Canadian Parliament. Frustrated and politically sidelined, Haldeman left Canada behind. His destination? South Africa, a nation where apartheid ruled and whose white Christian civilization he had openly praised. When Elon was 9 years old, his parents divorced. He chose to live with his father, a decision he would later regret. At the time, Elon claimed it was because his father owned a computer.
Elon had his first PC when he was 11, the first PC that ever came out from IBM. I bought it for him. It cost us nearly as much as a small Mercedes-Benz, new Mercedes-Benz car.
But the years that followed would leave him estranged from Elon Musk. Elon recalls being sent to wilderness schools, institutions designed to toughen up children. He describes them as brutal places where fights were common and cruelty was the norm. In one violent incident, Musk was thrown down a flight of stairs and beaten so severely he had to be hospitalized. Elon says his father berated him afterward, but Errol tells a different story. According to him, the attack happened because Elon had mocked another boy whose father had recently taken his own life. His father said, "Elon had a tendency to call people stupid. How could I possibly blame that child?" Despite the turbulence, Elon found refuge in books and video games. He taught himself basic coding and at the age of 12, created a space-themed video game called Blastar, selling it to PC and Office Technology magazine for $500, his first taste of entrepreneurship. Elon graduated high school with unremarkable grades, but his ambitions reached far beyond the borders of South Africa. Through his Canadian-born mother, he applied for a Canadian passport, a move that would help him avoid South Africa's mandatory military service and pave a smoother path towards the United States. He arrived in Canada in 1989, enrolling in college the following year. By 1992, he had transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, where he earned both a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science in 1997. Along the way, he gained experience by interning at several startups including Pinnacle Research Institute, which explored electrolytic supercapacitors, and Rocket Science Games, a video game developer. But according to the Washington Post, this period in Musk's life came with legal complications. They reported that once Elon was no longer enrolled in school and lacked an employer to sponsor him, his legal authorization to stay in the United States had expired. Musk has denied this, insisting that his student visa transitioned into an H-1B, despite the fact that at the time, he had no such sponsor. It's noteworthy that despite Elon's stance against illegal immigration, he started his career in the United States as one. After college, Elon, his brother Kimball, and Greg Khoury started a software company called Zip2 with money from Elon's father Errol.
I think the internet is the superset of all media. It is the It is the be-all and end-all of media.
They rented an office in Palo Alto and started developing an internet city guide with maps and yellow pages. They eventually received contracts with the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune. But as Zip2 grew, Elon's ambitions clashed with the company's leadership. When he tried to position himself as CEO, the board of directors refused. Compaq ended up purchasing Zip2 for $307 million in 1999, and Elon received $22 million for himself from this. In 1999, fresh off of his first big payday, Elon Musk co-founded X.com, an ambitious online financial services company and one of the first federally insured internet banks in history. In just a few months, it attracted over 200,000 customers, a staggering figure for the time, but behind the scenes, trouble was brewing. Investors accused Musk of being inexperienced and replaced him with Intuit CEO Bill Harris before the company's first year was over. The following year, X.com merged with another online bank called Confinity, founded by Max Levchin and a then little-known entrepreneur named Peter Thiel. Maybe you've heard of him? The openly gay German billionaire who helped fund far-right politicians including Trump, until 2023 when he said he lost interest in democracy because the conservatives he supported couldn't get over attacking the gay community. Confinity had developed a money transfer service that far outshined X.com, a product they called PayPal. After the merger, Musk regained the CEO title, but history repeated itself. His constant clashes with investors and senior leadership led Thiel to resign. Only months later, amid mounting technical issues and questions about the company's business model, the board fired Musk and reinstated Thiel in his place. The X.com name was dropped entirely and the business became simply PayPal. In 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion, with Musk receiving $175 million. Another massive fortune, and another chapter in a career already marked by ambition, innovation, and plenty of conflict. In 2001, just before selling PayPal, Elon joined the Mars Society with the dream of colonizing Mars. To kickstart his plan, he traveled to Moscow hoping to buy ballistic missiles to convert into rockets, but those efforts failed. Determined, he decided to build his own rockets. Investing $100 million, he founded SpaceX and took the helm as CEO. SpaceX's first rocket launch in 2006 ended in failure. Yet thanks to their low cost and rapid development, NASA still awarded them a contract. After 2 more failed launches, SpaceX finally succeeded in reaching orbit in 2008, a breakthrough that earned them a $1.6 billion NASA contract to replace the retiring space shuttle. Since then, SpaceX has regularly launched rockets into orbit and secured over $40 billion in US government contracts. SpaceX also runs Starlink, Elon's internet providing company, which has 6 million users worldwide. For all his talk about securing humanity's future, Elon Musk's own family life has been anything but secure. Since 2002, Musk has fathered 14 publicly known children, 6 of them in just the last 5 years, with 4 different women. None of these births happened naturally. Instead, they were all conceived through IVF or carried by surrogates, a detail that has fueled persistent rumors of a botched medical procedure that has left Musk unable to have children the conventional way. His journey into fatherhood began with tragedy. Musk's first child with his first wife, Justine, died at just 2 months old from SIDS. Musk claimed the baby passed away in his arms. Justine, however, has publicly contradicted that account, stating that the child died in her arms, not his. Over the years, Musk's relationships with several of his children and their mothers have fractured. His first daughter, Vivian, has been the most outspoken critic. One of the twins from his first marriage, Vivian legally changed her last name to her mother's maiden name, declaring she no longer wished to be related to her biological father in any way, shape, or form. Musk fired back, accusing her of being a communist who thought all wealthy people were evil. But the rift ran deeper than politics. Vivian is transgender, and Musk has refused to acknowledge her identity, saying only, "My son is dead."
I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys. I lost my son, essentially. The reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead.
Vivian responded sharply, saying, "He doesn't know what I was like as a child because quite simply he wasn't there. And in the little time that he was, I was relentlessly harassed for my queerness." How much time Musk actually spends with his children is unclear. Accounts from the mothers and from Vivian herself suggest it is minimal. There is, however, one notable exception. his son X, who began appearing alongside Musk in public right around the time Musk entered the political arena. Tesla Motors was founded in 2003 by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, who laid the groundwork for the company's vision of electric cars. In 2004, Elon Musk led the first major investment round, pouring in $6.3 million and becoming the majority shareholder. He joined the board as chairman, but wasn't yet involved in daily operations. Everything changed during the 2008 financial crisis when founder Martin Eberhard was pushed out. Musk stepped in as CEO amid the turmoil, sparking a lawsuit from Eberhard accusing him of defamation and breach of contract. The case was settled privately, but as part of the deal, Musk secured the right to call himself an official Tesla founder. Tesla's rise continued for years, growing into the most valuable car company in the world. But since Elon publicly endorsed Donald Trump in 2024, Tesla's loyalty rate has dropped to below 50%, falling beneath the industry average. Sales have declined quarter after quarter, and the company's stock price now seems far detached from its actual value. In 2015, Elon founded OpenAI with 7 other individuals, including Sam Altman, with the mission to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. Elon and Altman said they were concerned about AI safety. However, a couple years later, Elon left OpenAI over major disagreements over the direction of the company. Musk wanted it to become a for-profit company right away and was hoping to start merging it with Tesla. The other founders disagreed. He tried to take over the company by himself, but the board rejected his proposal. In 2016, Elon Musk co-founded Neuralink alongside a team of scientists and engineers, aiming to merge artificial intelligence with the human brain through implanted computer chips. Their ambitious goal? Not only to enhance cognitive abilities, but also treat devastating conditions like spinal cord injuries and motor impairments. By 2023, Neuralink had secured FDA approval for a 6-year human trial, but behind the scenes, troubling reports emerged. In 2022, employees began speaking out, accusing Musk's relentless push for rapid progress of causing botched experiments and needless suffering and even death among the monkeys used in testing. Allegations of animal cruelty and violations of the Animal Welfare Act sparked a federal investigation. Yet, under the Trump administration, the probe was abruptly halted, leaving serious questions about ethics and oversight unanswered. In 2016 brought yet another controversy into Elon Musk's orbit, one that would stay largely hidden from public view for years. A report surfaced that Musk had encouraged a flight attendant working for SpaceX to get licensed as a masseuse, supposedly so she could give him massages on private flights. But according to her account, one of those massages would take a disturbing turn. It happened aboard Musk's private jet, inside a secluded cabin. She says Musk invited her to his quarters for a full-body massage. When she arrived, he was completely naked beneath a thin sheet. As she worked, she alleges, he removed the sheet enough to expose himself, then began touching her thighs. When she refused to go further, Musk allegedly made an unusual offer. If she agreed, he would buy her a horse. He knew she was an avid equestrian. He had done his homework, but still, she said no. Soon after, her work assignments began to disappear. In 2018, she took formal action, filing a complaint with SpaceX's Human Resources Department and hiring a lawyer. That led to a meeting with Musk himself and a company mediator. The result was a $250,000 settlement in exchange for her silence. The agreement came with multiple strict non-disclosure clauses, forbidding her from speaking out about her experience at SpaceX or Tesla. The alleged incident and the payout would remain buried in legal paperwork and corporate secrecy, but when it finally surfaced, it became one more chapter in the growing ledger of Elon Musk's personal controversies. In 2017, Elon Musk launched The Boring Company with a big promise to revolutionize urban transportation by building underground tunnels that could replace freeways and subways. These tunnels would allow self-driving vehicles to speed through traffic at up to 150 miles per hour, transforming how cities move. By 2018, a 2-mile test tunnel was completed in Los Angeles, but journalists who rode through it reported a bumpy, slow experience, far from the promised high-speed future. Most planned tunnel projects were quickly canceled. Today, the only functioning tunnel is a short loop in Las Vegas, built in 2021. While officials have approved expansions, this stretch is under 2 miles long and doesn't use self-driving cars, falling far short of Musk's original vision and promise. One of Elon Musk's first big major public controversies unfolded during the 2018 rescue of a youth soccer team trapped deep inside flooded caves on the border of Thailand and Myanmar. 12 boys and their assistant coach had ventured into a dangerous cave system known for its narrow tunnels and deep recesses, despite warnings not to enter during the rainy season. As expected, a sudden storm flooded the caves, leaving the team stranded underground. A desperate rescue mission was launched, involving dozens of international divers and experts and lasting several tense weeks. 2 divers tragically lost their lives in the effort. Amid this intense operation, Musk offered to send a custom-built, 5-foot-long Tesla submarine to help, a gesture the rescuers politely declined, calling it technologically sophisticated but impractical for the mission's needs. The Thai Prime Minister said Musk's equipment might be useful with modifications in the future, but it was never deployed. Tensions escalated when Vern Unsworth, one of the lead rescuers, dismissed Musk's submarine as a PR stunt that had no chance of working. Musk responded with a shocking personal attack, accusing Unsworth of being a pedophile. The backlash was swift and severe. Though Musk apologized, he continued to call Unsworth a liar. The diver sued Musk for defamation, but Musk ultimately won the case, arguing that calling someone a pedophile was common in South Africa where he grew up. In 2022, Elon Musk made headlines by purchasing Twitter for a staggering $44 billion. Almost immediately, he fired all top executives, slashed a large portion of the staff, and appointed himself CEO. His sweeping changes included opening verification to anyone willing to pay a monthly fee and dramatically reducing content moderation. The consequences were swift and severe. Misinformation, hate speech, and anti-Semitism surged, driving major advertisers off the platform and sparking widespread controversy. Musk eventually stepped down as CEO, installing Linda Yaccarino in the role, though many see it as little more than a figurehead move. Under Musk's ownership, Twitter has also become a tool to silence critics, banning users, stripping paid verifications, and shadow banning voices to keep them off feeds, raising serious questions about free speech and power in the digital age. By 2025, Twitter valuation is down to around $15 billion from the $44 billion he purchased it for, an 80% drop in value. In November 2023, Elon Musk unveiled Grock, an AI chatbot for Twitter designed to rival OpenAI's ChatGPT, but Grock quickly became a source of controversy.
Oh no, not again.
By April 2025, Ireland's Data Protection Commission launched an investigation into how Twitter was using personal data to train Grock. Just a month later, users began receiving disturbing responses. Grock was spouting conspiracy theories about white genocide in South Africa, claiming its creators instructed it to discuss these ideas. In July 2025, Musk promised to fix Grock by stripping away its woke programming and making it more politically incorrect and maximally based. The results were chilling. Grock began praising Hitler, endorsing another Holocaust, blaming Jewish executives for forced diversity, and even calling itself Mecca Hitler. When asked about the massive flooding in central Texas, Grock blamed Jewish people for anti-white hate and claimed Hitler would have handled the problem every damn time. It launched hateful tirades against multiple foreign leaders, including vicious attacks in Polish against the Polish Prime Minister, prompting the European Union to open an investigation and Turkey to ban the AI. Trolls exploited Grock to generate violent and sexually explicit content, including threats against a Minnesota lawyer and offensive comments about Twitter CEO Linda Yaccarino, who resigned the following day. By August 2025, Grock began producing unprovoked fake nude images and videos, including explicit deepfakes of celebrities like Taylor Swift. While not yet illegal, the upcoming Take It Down Act slated for 2026 could make such deepfakes a criminal offense. Grock's rapid descent into chaos has raised urgent questions about AI ethics, corporate responsibility, and the unchecked power of technology in the hands of a single man. For most of his life in the United States, Elon Musk was a registered independent voter, donating to both Democrats and Republicans, mostly in the states where he conducted business, even throwing his support behind Kanye West in 2020. But starting in 2022, his political support shifted sharply. Musk said that he could no longer support the Democrats, stating that they have become the party of division and would be voting Republican due to Biden's support for unions and his inability to get a lot done. Musk began pouring millions exclusively into Republican causes, and by 2024, he was backing far-right parties around the world while spreading misinformation and conspiracy theories. That year, Musk became a vocal and financial champion of Donald Trump, contributing an astonishing $277 million to his presidential campaign. He also funneled millions into other right-wing elections, including $20 million for the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, a contest with major implications for car manufacturing regulations. Despite his heavy spending, some of his candidates still lost. In 2024, Elon Musk also officially threw his support behind Germany's far-right party, the Alternative for Germany, or AfD, calling it the last spark of hope for the country. The AfD is widely classified as an extremist organization, with its leaders repeatedly making anti-Semitic, anti-Muslim, and anti-democratic statements. Back in 2017, the party demanded Germany stop atoning for Nazi crimes and called for a complete reversal in how the nation remembers its past. AfD leaders have threatened the deportation of German citizens who don't fit their definition of ethnic Germanness, labeling Muslims as an existential threat to the country. In 2023, the AfD held a secret meeting with extremists, including Martin Sellner, a notorious Austrian neo-Nazi, where plans for mass deportations were reportedly discussed, signaling a chilling escalation in their radical agenda. Musk's political actions, including supporting the AfD, have drawn intense international scrutiny, especially from countries like France, Germany, Norway, Spain, and the UK.
Fight for a great future for Germany. Fight for a great future for Germany. Go, go, go. Convince your friends, convince everyone. Let's go.
Analysts have identified his influence boosting far-right movements in at least 18 countries between 2023 and 2025. At Trump's second inauguration, Musk made a gesture eerily similar to a Nazi salute.
My heart goes out to you.
An act widely condemned, particularly in Germany where it's illegal. Musk claimed it was a heartfelt greeting, but very few accepted the explanation. Neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups celebrated the gesture and started replicating it online in support. Musk was then appointed head of a Trump-era organization called DOGE, supposedly created to reduce government waste. His tenure sparked fierce backlash over ruthless layoffs and the dismantling of vital programs like USAID. Under Musk and Doge's influence, USAID projects were slashed by 83%, primarily on his urging. Experts estimate these cuts have already contributed to the deaths of over 300,000 children and project that number could rise to 14 million within 5 years. USAID, a global aid agency responsible for saving an estimated 90 million lives between 2001 and 2021, has been devastated under Musk's direction, raising urgent questions about the true cost of his political power. But Doge wasn't really just about cutting costs, it became a tool to silence dissent. Using Grock, Elon's AI, the organization monitored federal agency communications, hunting for any signs of disloyalty to Donald Trump. Anyone suspected of opposing the agenda faced swift termination. In a very controversial move, Elon installed a former Neuralink employee to oversee the Treasury Department's payment system, which handles trillions of dollars. This employee had previously been fired from a cybersecurity internship for leaking sensitive information to competitors. Reports revealed that this individual aided cybercriminals, including the notorious hacking group eGodly. eGodly openly thanked him, praising their partners at Diamond CDN for providing protection and caching services. The group is linked to email hacks, cryptocurrency theft, and harassment of government officials, including FBI agents. In April 2025, a whistleblower disclosure was quietly slipped to Congress and obtained by NPR. According to the report, Doge was stealing massive amounts of sensitive data, information about labor unions, corporate trade secrets, and even details from ongoing legal cases. This wasn't just a breach of ethics, it was a breach of trust. The kind of data that should have never left the National Labor Relations Board was allegedly siphoned out in secret. The whistleblower claimed the Doge team had gone to great lengths to cover their tracks, disabling monitoring tools, erasing logs, and deleting records of their access. It was obvious they wanted no trace they had ever been there. Internal documentation backed up the whistleblower's account, and a dozen technical experts from multiple agencies reviewed it, each confirming the same disturbing reality. This was all true. Then came something even stranger. Just minutes after Doge accessed the NLRB, a login attempt was made from a Russian IP address. The intruder used a brand new Doge email account, complete with the correct credentials, to try and log in. The attempt was blocked by government safeguards, but the most troubling part is no one can say for sure if other logins have succeeded. In June of 2025, Elon Musk's controversial tenure at Doge came to an end as he left the White House. But the political storm was far from over. Shortly after, Congress passed the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, a massive spending package pushed by Donald Trump that added nearly $4 trillion to the deficit, a stark contradiction to Doge's statement about cutting government waste. Elon erupted online, denouncing the bill as a disgusting abomination and accusing Trump of being on the infamous Epstein list of child molesters. He called for the ousting of every politician who supported the bill and threatened to launch his own political movement, the America Party. Trump fired back with threats to cancel all of Elon's federal contracts and even pursue deportation.
I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill. And, Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate. Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore.
Though he later softened his stance, labeling Musk a big-time drug addict, Trump warned of very serious consequences if Elon supported Democrats in the upcoming elections. The public feud ended abruptly when Elon deleted his tweets about Trump. Since then, the two have maintained a tense silence. By 2025, Elon Musk had managed to alienate nearly everyone.
It's difficult.
The liberal-leaning consumers who once championed him as the visionary behind Tesla, a symbol of clean energy and the future, had long since abandoned him. His political stances, social media outbursts, and alliances with extremist figures had turned admiration into disgust. But the shift didn't end there. Musk's newer base, the ultra-right-wing conservatives who had embraced him as a culture war hero, began turning on him as well. In their eyes, any criticism of Donald Trump was unforgivable, and Musk's public clash with the president was exactly that. The damage was staggering. Surveys revealed that 2/3 of Americans, a full 67%, would not consider buying or leasing a Tesla. More than half of those people said Musk himself was the reason, with nearly a third calling him the only reason. For them, the cars, the company, the innovations, none of it could be separated from the man. For a man who once seemed untouchable, the fall was dramatic. Years of controversies, feuds, and impulsive attacks had eroded not just his image, but his empire's stability. Today, by many measures, Elon Musk holds a title he once would have laughed off: the most hated man in America. This was a brief summary of Elon Musk's life and controversies. I obviously couldn't cover every detail, but if I missed anything important or you have anything to add, feel free to let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.